This changes everything. Because it does. Was that mind-bending? Was that some crazy language pattern? No, it was a mind-bending idea. And that's all that we do. Mind-bending language is there to help you express mind-bending ideas. So the reason we have mind-bending language is so you can express a mind-bending thought with a reasonable chance for it to be understood.
But one is what occurred to me with your story is sometimes the solution to the client's problem can seem so obvious to us.
Of course, because we don't have the problem.
Right, exactly. And I guess that's kind of cool when that happens because it can be a very obvious statement to us, but if we present it in a sort of mind-bending way, it can be mind-bending to the client.
Yes.
Even though it's very obvious to us.
And sometimes just saying what's very obvious to you directly is mind-bending.
Right.
What? Have you ever done that? You didn't mean to be mind-bending. It's just you saw how misaligned someone's perceptions was to what you thought was reality. And you basically said something along the lines of, it's not this, it's that. Have you ever done this? Now that's a bit of a risky maneuver because that can go down the not being acknowledged, respected sort of route. But when it takes, isn't it everything you've ever wanted from mind-bending language and more? It's not this, it's that. What do you mean? Think about it. It's not this, it's that. You sometimes even repeat the exact same words and they'll go, what? Just think about it. It's not this. All right, I've got that part. It's that. You mean it's not this, but that? Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. You're right.
That's right.
This changes everything. Because it does. Was that mind-bending? Was there some crazy language pattern? No. It was a mind-bending idea. And that's all that we do. Mind-bending language is there to help you express mind-bending ideas. And we go back to the communications model. The reason we do these question formula is so that we have a way of expressing ideas that our culture does not habitually express. Is to expand our vocabulary so we can talk about things that our culture doesn't talk about. Because those things our culture talks about routinely solves the problems that other cultures had, but we don't. And we have vocabulary for that. It's embedded in our culture, so we don't think about it. It's those things that our culture does not routinely talk about, that at some point in the edges somewhere creates the kinds of problems that our culture doesn't know how to resolve. So in order to resolve those problems, we've got to think in a way that stands outside of our cultural reference points. We need an idea that's bigger or different, really different from, not really bigger even, that's different from the ideas that we've been stuck on. The idea which in itself is mind-bending. It's a mind-bending idea. And mind-bending language is a way of almost, if you do it mechanically, sometimes, have you noticed that just doing mind-bending language mechanically sometimes gets the result done? So you can have someone with a problem, and you just read out these mind-bending questions that you've got in the first deck of cards. You did that, or in the first day of the first video of the training series. And that itself can just shift the problem. Have you ever noticed that sometimes? It's because the way those are formulated fundamentally change the relationship of the person's perception in relation to the problem. That somewhere along the lines you'll stumble accidentally, just by sheer dumb luck, on a mind-bending idea. You wouldn't even know what it is yourself. They'll know because it's all their stuff that's being reconfigured, right? And the beauty of the mind-bending questions is they're designed in such a way that the chances of hitting a mind-bending idea are well above average, which means well above our regular communication model, which remember is 60% failure. You see how that works? But then the problem comes in that you get mystified. You have no idea why it worked. Because you could see it work, but you have no concept. It's like magic. And that's when you get into trouble, because then you get into magical thinking, which is, what do I say? And that's not the answer. The answer is not even, the answer is closer, the closer answer would be, what do I think, so that they can change? But actually that's not even the answer either. The real answer is, what do they need to think? Or more accurately, what do they need to perceive so that their problem can no longer maintain itself? And that's a long loop, because in order for them to guide them to their perceptions, it helps immensely if you go first. So you perceive it in a way that they can't, which is where you mentioned you got stuck on clients, or who was it who says you get stuck with clients when you don't know the problem's insoluble. I think maybe it was you, right? That really what you're saying is you've got the same stuck attention or perception that they have. So when you can perceive it from a way that no longer allows that, it's basically called creativity, right? Then they can no longer hold on. No, sorry. Then you can no longer hold on to the problem. You're freed now. But that's you're liberated. They're still stuck. Next, you have to communicate that idea in some meaningful way. That's why we need the language. So we can get this mind-bending idea out of our heads and into the world. We need the facility with the vocabulary, so you don't just go, no, it's not that. No, it's not that. No, think of it different. Think of it different. Again, and again, and again. If you kept doing that and actually they kept changing to a different thought, eventually they hit it and you go, that one, that's the one I want. But that's not going to happen in a regular conversation. So the reason we have mind-bending language is so you can express a mind-bending thought with a reasonable chance for it to be understood.